So yeah, I want to share a bit with you about the organization I work for, Unitary Fund, and what we're doing to build up the quantum technology ecosystem. What we're doing for our community as a whole, and hopefully how some of you can get involved. So I'm sure you're having a great time with QHack. I hope so. And yeah, it's really exciting to see all of the participation and excitement around quantum technology. And so I want to share some of that with you from the Unitary Fund side. So like I mentioned, we're a nonprofit organization, and we are on a mission to create a quantum technology ecosystem that benefits the most people. And we want to expand the pool of people working on quantum technologies. We want to make the tools widely available and equitably distributed. So it's great to see students and enthusiasts and people from all different kinds of backgrounds coming together for this event. And we hope that many of you will want to continue to be involved with quantum technology in this really collaborative way. And so I want to share a bit about some of the main programs that we have at Unitary Fund. So the first one is our microgrant program. And that's for $4,000 that we give away for rapid projects in quantum technology. So get people who are excited about quantum technology and who are wanting to do something for the community that will benefit the ecosystem as a whole. So we help them do that with these microgrants. And I'll talk a little bit more about what that looks like in just a little bit. We also have open source projects, which the Unitary Fund team is kind of like the core drivers of, but we have lots of contributors from our community. So we have MITIC, which is a Python toolkit for quantum error mitigation. As Isaac mentioned, that's what I focus on at Unitary Fund. We also have a project called Metric, which is keeping track of the state of the art in quantum technology. So looking at benchmarks and sourcing these benchmarks from the community. And then we also do a lot of events around quantum technology. We have a Discord. I'm sure many of you are familiar with the QHack Discord. Unitary Fund also has a Discord. We host the Q-Tip project. We host events like our own hackathon, which is Unitary Hack, and I'll mention that in a little bit as well. And we run things like the Quantum Open Source Survey, which we just wrapped up the second iteration of last year. So this is our team. People from kind of a variety of backgrounds within quantum tech, and also community building and open source initiatives. Another thing that we have is our ambassador program. So these are people who've been contributing to our open source projects, who are passionate about quantum tech, and really making it a welcoming and inclusive place for people to join and learn more and get connected. And so we've been doing that for a few years now, and really helping to enable and equip folks to then kind of build on their contributions and get more visibility within the community. We also have our grant winner community, and that's growing. We just last year had a convention for our grant winners, and they were able to connect with each other and learn from each other and even come up with some new ideas, hopefully, for future projects. And we have an advisory board that evaluates grant applications and advises grant winners, and really just helps our community with their expertise. And they come from a variety of backgrounds, a variety of industry, academia. So really great to have all of these different members at different levels of our community working together. And actually, one of our grant winners became an advisor on our advisory board. So you can also see the progression of people as they go through their career and through their quantum journey, getting more acquainted, not just with the technology, but with the people in the ecosystem. So a bit more about what the microgrants actually entail. So as I mentioned, they're $4,000 to fund rapid projects in quantum technology. And these are for explorers all over the world. You can apply at unitary.fund/grants. And so far, we've given out about 89 microgrants to recipients in 23 countries. So we really are doing this on a global scale. We've got our grant winners have successfully published some of their work. We've also, a lot of these are open source library projects. So, and then attracting additional contributors. Although we don't fund startups, a couple of startups have been spun out of projects that started out as microgrant projects, as well as a nonprofit organization, and that's QWorld. So definitely we've seen a lot of growth in the quantum community as a result of this program. And so we don't, these are no strings attached grants. We just want to fund people to do good work in building up the ecosystem. And you don't have to have specific qualifications. So we just say explorers in quantum. We just want to see that you have the expertise and the drive and the understanding to do what it is that you say you want to do in your application. And these are generally open source projects, but we've also had community building projects. We've had the PK project, people interested in quantum education. So a lot of different avenues and ways of approaching filling gaps in the quantum ecosystem that maybe haven't been addressed by industry or academia. We come in and we help explorers fill those gaps with our microgrant program. And the projects are usually 3 to 6 months in duration. And the application is very, very lightweight. It's just like a couple minutes and a couple minute video. And here are some projects that we've had in the past. So libraries, education programs, extending an existing library, benchmarking projects, and we feature these winners on our Unitary Fund YouTube channel. As I mentioned, we also host a lot of events for our community. So we have community calls on our Discord. We have them for our kind of team-driven projects like MITIC and Metric, but we also have things like for QTIP. We've hosted QIR in the past, Open QAOA. Yeah, we have a lot of people gathering on Discord in a variety of ways, on calls and channels and so forth. We also have a Unitary Hack, and so that's coming again this spring. Been doing that for a few years now, and we get a lot of open source projects together. So if you like hackathons, I definitely encourage you to join Unitary Hack and work on exciting open issues and open source, and hopefully win some bounties by closing those issues successfully. We also sponsor the Open Source Software Survey. Understanding more about our community and our community's needs. And also like kind of, their roles, and kind of like what kinds of tools that they use and what kind of tools they're looking for. And yeah, an announcement about Unitary Hack is coming soon, not quite in time for this presentation, unfortunately. But yeah, it's fully virtual. We want people to contribute to projects they haven't contributed to before, or win prizes for contributing to projects that they're really excited about. Both are fine, but we do award cash bounties for closing issues. And we've seen a lot of growth in our participation. So we're really looking forward to this year's event. Another internally driven project that we have, but we encourage everyone to get involved, is Metric. So Metric is a platform for community-driven quantum computing benchmarks. And so this is kind of like Papers with Code, if you've heard of that, but it's for quantum technology. So understanding what is the state of the art for various benchmarks in quantum computing. And so anyone can make a submission in Metric, and the way it works is you put in a link to a paper, or you put in a data set if you've collected your own data, and you fill out some fields and you explain what it's about. If it's somebody else's paper, of course, like you would put in like the archive link, and auto-populates a lot of things about like the authors and the abstract, things like that. But there are other ways to enter data in Metric as well. And then you get a nice chart like this. So you can actually, it's interactive. You can see the progress over time, and it helps people get a sense of where we're at and where we need to go in terms of quantum technology and how it's performing. The other internally driven project that we have is MITIC. So MITIC is a Python toolkit for applying different error mitigation techniques. It is compatible with many front ends, including PennyLane, and it's designed to be backend independent. So you can have a simulator, you can have real hardware of pretty much any provider, and as long as you can interface to it properly from your front end, MITIC can apply error mitigation on your quantum program, your circuit, and help you get better results. And so we have a variety of techniques that are pretty well known in error mitigation, like zero noise extrapolation and probabilistic error cancellation, and we're working on adding more. And so I will I know we're getting close to the conclusion, so I will just kind of flash through these, but you can kind of see how MITIC can take a quantum program and change that into multiple quantum programs, instances, execute that on a back end, and then perform some inference on the noisy results. And just a visual representation of some of the techniques that we have in MITIC: Z&E, PEC, learning-based methods, symmetry-based techniques, digital dynamical decoupling. So we have quite a variety, and we encourage people who are interested in contributing to quantum software to try MITIC out and to consider contributing to it. And that brings me to some FAQs about open source, because that's a big part of what we do at Unitary Fund. So why should you contribute? Well, you can make a difference. You can make a difference in the quantum tech ecosystem. You can also expand your contributions beyond the quantum tech ecosystem, and you can bring something of value that other people can use and can build on. You can also advance your career. That's how I got started in quantum technology, was by contributing to MITIC, and eventually became technical staff at Unitary Fund. So I know this very well, that you can really build a career through your open source contributions if that's what you really want to do. And it's fun. You meet a lot of new people, you exchange ideas, and you learn a lot. And you can contribute a lot of different things. You can contribute code, infrastructure, things on GitHub. Documentation is very important. PennyLane has great docs. Mythic, we try to do that as well. But also user interface, user experience design, data is very important. You saw that with Metric and the benchmarking platform. User feedback. This is also a very important one. So it's not just code. There's a lot that you can do in the open source community. And yeah, there's a number of different ways to get started. So you can find a project on GitHub. You can join a community on Discord, like the one we have at Unitary Fund, or the QHack one. And you can join a hackathon, which you have. And hopefully we'll also see you at Unitary Hack. So stay tuned for our announcement about that. So just to conclude, I would say open source communities continue to add value to the quantum tech ecosystem, and your contributions can help them grow. So wherever you may be in your quantum journey, your contributions count. And I hope you connect with us at Unitary Fund. Thank you for your attention.
Thanks so much, Misty. That was really nice. I gotta say, I'll leave this slide up for a bit, actually, for people who want to note all this stuff down. Really like Unitary Fund, like the whole philosophy of the whole thing. I think it's really awesome. We have time for one question. We have a question from Quantum Learn on Twitch. Misty, how did you get involved in Unitary Fund?
Yeah, so I actually got involved in 2021 with the inaugural Unitary Hack. And I made my first contribution to Mythic during that competition. And I was just really impressed with even just the interactions like on GitHub and Discord. And I wanted to stick around. I knew I wanted to kind of make a career pivot into quantum technology that way. And so I thought, yeah, maybe open source is the way to do that. And so I just kept building up my contributions to Mythic, getting to know the team, learning about error mitigation. And yeah, eventually, just 2 years ago, I joined the team. So yeah.
Nice. Cool. So through Unitary Hack, there you go. So humble beginnings for sure. All right. So there were some more questions, but for those of you who didn't get an answer, go ahead on the Discord. Misty will be there shortly. We have to say goodbye here, Misty, but thanks so much for joining. We really appreciate it, and hope you enjoy the rest of QHack. And we'll see you guys at Unitary Hack. I'm sure we'll be involved. I think we already are, actually. So yeah.
Great.
Cheers. Have a great rest of your day.
Thank you for having me.